eternal kiss of the forgotten city, the sun dipped low over the desert horizon, casting long shadows across the dunes as Rafik tightened the strap of his pack. He had come far already, chasing the whispered stories of an ancient city buried beneath the sands. A place where treasure and secrets lay hidden. But more than treasure, he wanted something he couldn't quite name, perhaps meaning. Perhaps escape from the monotony of his old life. Adventure had always been a dream, and here he was, standing on the edge of it. He hadn't expected anyone else to be out there, especially not a woman. Yet, as he crested the next dune, he saw her, a figure draped in flowing cloth the color of twilight, her face half shielded from the wind. She was adjusting the reins of a camel that seemed restless under the golden sky. When she noticed him, her eyes narrowed, sharp and guarded. "You shouldn't be here," she said, her voice low but firm, carried by the desert wind. Rafik stopped, surprised, and yet here we both are. Her lips curved into the faintest shadow of a smile, though her stance didn't soften. "The desert doesn't forgive foolish travelers. You'll lose more than your way." He was about to reply when a sudden gust swept between them, revealing in the distance the faint outline of stone half buried in the sand. The ruins. His pulse quickened. She followed his gaze and shook her head. "That city is cursed. The desert swallowed it for a reason. Cursed or not, he couldn't resist. But something about her presence stirred him in ways he hadn't anticipated. She was no mirage. Her every movement was alive, precise, commanding. Curiosity outweighed caution, and he stepped closer. "Then why are you here if not for the same city?" Her eyes softened briefly. "Because I belong to it." That answer only deepened the mystery. She turned, leading her camel toward the ruins, and without another word, he followed. They reached the broken gates by nightfall, the moonlight casting the stones in silver. The air was heavy, thick with silence, as though the city itself still breathed in the shadows of its walls. Inside, carvings lined the crumbling arches, telling stories of kings, battles, and lovers lost to time. Rafik felt the thrill of discovery pulsed through him, but it wasn't just the ruins, it was her, this stranger, walking beside him with an elegance that defied the desolation around them. At a crumbled courtyard, she finally sat, removing her veil. Her face glowed in the pale moonlight, her eyes deep and luminous, like wells of secrets. "My name is Amira," she said softly, almost as if offering him a gift. "Rafik," he answered, his voice caught somewhere between awe and relief. Amira studied him, her gaze piercing. "Why did you come here, truly?" He hesitated, then told her the truth. He was tired of living half asleep, tired of a world where every day repeated the last. He wanted something real, even if it meant danger. Her expression softened. "Then maybe the desert chose you." Over the next days, they explored the ruins together. The city was vast, its alleys swallowed by dunes, its towers broken like ribs jutting from the sand. Each discovery they made seemed to bring them closer, not just in distance, but in something deeper. She knew the city intimately, guiding him through hidden chambers, telling him stories of its forgotten glory. One evening, as the desert winds howled outside, they sheltered in a half-collapsed temple. Rafiq lit a small fire, and Amira sat close, the shadows dancing across her face. She told him then of the curse. The city had once been ruled by a king who defied the gods for love. In his defiance, he bound his beloved's soul to the city, refusing to let her go even in death. The gods punished him, burying the city in sand, binding all who loved within its walls to the same fate. Rafiq stared at her, realization dawning. You're part of that curse. Her silence was enough of an answer. His chest tightened, a storm of emotions whirling inside him. He wanted to deny it, to pretend she was just a woman like any other. But the way the ruins seemed to bend around her, the way the desert winds fell silent when she spoke, he knew. Then why let me follow you? He asked quietly. Her eyes shimmered with sorrow. Because perhaps you're the one who can free me. That night's sleep escaped him. He lay awake beside the dying fire, watching her, torn between desire and dread. Freedom meant ending the curse, but what if it also meant losing her? At dawn, they reached the heart of the ruins, where a great stone altar stood. Symbols carved into its surface pulsed faintly in the morning light, alive despite centuries buried. Amira stood before it, her cloak whipping in the wind. "This is where it ends," she whispered, "or begins." Rafiq stepped closer. "Tell me what to do." She turned to him, tears tracing her cheeks. "Love me enough to let me go." His throat tightened. He wanted to hold her, to fight fate itself, to keep her with him. But he saw in her eyes the truth. She had been bound for centuries. Trapped in sorrow, waiting for someone who would choose her freedom over their own heart. Slowly, he cupped her face, his thumb brushing away her tears. "I love you," he said, every word heavy with devotion. Then he kissed her, pouring into it everything he had, every longing, every dream. The ground trembled, light bursting from the altar, engulfing them both. He felt her body grow weightless in his arms, her warmth fading, her form dissolving like mist in sunlight. She smiled through her tears, her voice barely audible. "Thank you." And then she was gone. The ruins stilled, the wind easing into silence. The curse had broken. But Rafiq stood alone, his heart torn open, aching with loss yet burning with something greater. He had freed her, and in doing so, found the very meaning he had sought. When he finally left the desert, the sands behind him whispered her name with every step of the wind. He carried her memory not as a wound, but as proof that love could be stronger than fate, stronger even than time. His adventure had ended, but his story had only just begun.